How I escaped gangsters by faking my death. 10 years ago, I made a deal with the wrong people. It started innocently enough, small loans from a loan shark to fund a side business idea that never took off. When the payments piled up, I borrowed more, thinking I could gamble my way out. Instead, I fell into a pit so deep I couldn't see the bottom. At first, they just wanted the money back. Threatening calls, smashed windows, it was all manageable as long as it didn't touch my family. But one day, I came home to find a note taped to my daughter's swing set. It simply read, "Next time, it's her." That was when I knew there was no paying them off. They didn't want the money anymore. They wanted control. I couldn't risk my family's safety any longer. My best friend, Paul, had spent years working in private investigations and had connections in places I didn't understand. When I told him everything, he gave me a grim solution. I had to disappear. The plan took months to prepare. I spent my last days with my wife and daughter soaking in every laugh, every hug. The night before it all happened, I told my wife how much I loved her. She thought it was just a regular goodbye before work. The next morning, I staged my death. Paul helped me set up a boating accident on the river. My boat was rigged to explode after I jumped out, leaving behind pieces of clothing, my wallet, and just enough DNA to convince the authorities. Paul made sure no one would ever find my body. For the first few months, I stayed off the grid, living in a cabin Paul owned under an assumed identity. Slowly, I built a new life in a distant town, working odd jobs and keeping to myself. Through social media, I've watched my daughter grow up from afar. I've seen her win awards at school, celebrate birthdays, and even go to her first prom. My wife eventually remarried. It broke me, but I can't blame her. She deserves happiness. Every day I think about going back. But I know the shadows I left behind would follow. This isn't the life I wanted, but it's the only way to ensure their safety. I sacrificed everything for their freedom, and while it pains me, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.